Today, I want to talk about Gen Z and how people think we feel entitled. People feel like we just deserve more than what we already have. Feel like we too good for things. To be honest, I feel like the whole reason they think we feel entitled, and this is no disrespect. I'm not coming at no other generation because shoot, the people before us kind of helped set the foundation for our own betterment, our own growth. But when it comes to them saying, or anyone saying we feel entitled, I feel like they're saying that because they see that we don't want to be held on a leash, on a chain, and be, living this work life that, we always were taught, especially in the African American household. We were always taught to work, 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 no days off, no sleep. And I'm not going to sit up here and say I don't do that because, this YouTube stuff, all I'm doing is just recording videos, trying to think about ideas and, putting my brain to use, so, that lifestyle, I can't sit up here and act like I don't do that. Or, when I used to have a job, I used to go to work five days throughout the week, 2 days off, working 40 hours, So I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm just never done that before. But we got so used to working so much, and some people even worked in high school. We got to the point where it's like we want to do more things. We don't want to just sit back and let these corporations tell us what the fuck we supposed to do. And majority of us, it's not throughout hate. It's not because we don't want to listen to our parents. It's not that we think our parents don't know nothing. Trust me, I don't know a lot of shit in life. I'm just as clueless as the next man. I'm still young. I'm still learning. But the thing is that I want to be able to learn things that are actually going to help me. I might not know everything, but I want to be able to have the energy and the patience and the time and put in all the effort to understand things that are important in life. Is a job important? Yes, you got to put food on the table. If you got kids at home, if you got things that you got to do to keep the lights on at the crib, if you got some things you want to buy for the crib so it can look good for the person that you're trying to impress or just for yourself, get a job. I'm not saying that. Please get a job, because in times like this where everything is behind a dollar, even water, things that literally came from God's gracious hands, we got to have a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we need to just quit our jobs and act like we living in the times where we just paid through food and, horses and transportation and all that shit. I'm saying when we have these jobs, and when we sit up here and we go to these workplaces every day and we don't get rewarded for our hard work, we only get ridiculed through the bad things we do. We only are there because they know that when we go there, we their best, employee. And when we get tired of it, when we want to quiet quit, when we want to do things that make us happy, or when we don't want to put in the full effort that day because we probably had something going on, they want to come at us. They want to they want to threaten our job on the line. They want to, make us feel belittled when we're human. Not every day is going to be a good day. And we want to have that will to just be free. We want to have that will to not be so stressed out, even though life is already stressful as it is. We want to have that opportunity to put things that we want to do first in front of us. And that job is possibly, holding us back, because be real, when you get off work, we feel tired. We don't want to do anything else. And I think that's what corporations are definitely set up for people to become that. So that could be their focal point in life. Like, that's the only thing that they're going to be doing. Not to leverage back onto what I said about companies not treating us well. I'm not sitting up here and saying we are Malcolm X or we were Martin Luther King, or we're not sitting up here acting like we Rosa Parks and shit. But, we We know we respect ourselves, you feel me? And also older generations respect themselves too. It's not just us, so we all as humans, we want respect. Like that's things that people live and die for. Some people, that's literally all they live for. It's just to have respect. Some people don't care about money. Some people don't care about the fame and all that. They just care about respect. And when these jobs want to have us clock in like we supposed to be working that day, and they talking about, oh, you don't clock in, you're going to get in trouble. Oh, if you come on, you got to replace this dude's shift. Bro, that has nothing to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? Like that has nothing to do with anyone. If dude didn't want to come in, then dude didn't want to come in. Shoot, it's okay, bro. Walmart is not going to lose money because one dude decided not to be the stalker for the day. One dude decided he's not going to be up front checking people receipts that day. Like, it's cool, bro. Like, y'all not going to die. Like, you feel me? And we realize that because, nigga, everybody goes to Walmart. Everybody goes to Publix. Everybody goes and orders stuff off Amazon, eBay. Everybody goes to these places that are billion-dollar companies. And they get to crying and complaining, trying to send us emails. The boss trying to send us an email saying, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this on the day that was not supposed to come in? Like, we'll give you a pay raise. The pay raise ain't good enough, nigga. The pay raise is not good enough in today's world. There is people out here who got apartments and stuff like that who is working $20 an hour and they still can't make rent. You feel me? You got to have two jobs. And some people not willing to do that. Some people are willing to just live with their parents. You feel me? And another thing is that we know we can get more than what we are already doing. You feel me? Like, the world has so many ways of income now. Granted, those ways of income are definitely not in the same percentile of achievement as achieving a job or something like that. But, we understand that, the same hours we possibly worked at that shift at the job, if we put in those hours to do things that are creative and that we love, we know that we're going to be much happier in life. And everyone's end goal is to be happy. You feel me? Nobody wants to be living a miserable life. And we understand that, life is precious. Life is so good. Life is much more meaningful than sitting inside of a building and just doing slave work. You feel me? And like I said, I'm not sitting up here saying quit your job. I'm not saying that. Please, for the love of God, if that is your source of income at the moment, if you don't have anything else going right now, if you need to get back on your feet, do not quit your job. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is we, as a generation, we understand that in the long run, what's more meaningful to us is a happy life, is something that, when we sit back and we tell our kids, hey, this is what I did, and I did it the way I wanted to do it. And, sometimes it might not pan out to be how you pan it out to be, but at least we tried something new. You feel me? We tried something different, and we deserve that. That's one thing we do deserve, is to live our own life, because we get one death, but we wake up thousands of days in a row. And once we die, it's over. But those thousands of days we were able to wake up, those millions of days we were able to wake up with an opportunity to be great. And a lot of people understand that now. A lot of people are not really holding back on what they have to say anymore. People are okay with, receiving the backlash of telling a specific person or a boss or things like that, hey, man, if you're not going to treat me with respect, if you're going to sit up here and have favorites, man, I'll just leave. I'll just go ahead and go find somewhere else to work or things like that. And, it's cool. You feel me? It's cool to feel that way. It's cool to stand up for yourself. You don't have to sit back and take people's bull crap all the time, So that's all I have to say for real. We just want more for ourselves. And, when it comes to wanting more for ourselves, sometimes we want more for our families, because, some of us are in situations where, we're trying to do everything to have our parents get out of such a dooming situation. And we want to be able to have them not work another day. They could sit back and enjoy their elderly years of relaxation, sitting by the pool and, looking at the sun, or sitting on the front porch and probably smoking a cigarette or something, you know, doing things like that. You know, just, and I'm not advocating for anybody to smoke cigarettes, but, you know, just sitting outside and just relaxing, just doing something that, you know, doesn't require your body to be stressed out and, you know, you possibly having injuries and your body is breaking itself down because of the hard labor you're doing. You know, we understand that we want more, we want better for ourselves, and we're okay with standing up to these people that we're supposed to be afraid of. We're supposed to just close our mouths for. And, you know, we're not doing that anymore. We want more. We want to be free. Everybody wants to be free, not just us. But yeah. But anyways, man, hopefully y'all taking care of yourselves. Y'all stay up, stay motivated, stay positive, stay disciplined, and stay yourself. Always stay true to yourself. Catch y'all in the next one. I love y'all. Comment down below if you relate to this. I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace.